Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another fantastic episode of The Left Wing. I am TJ Whitehead, powers taken, not given, joined as always by time traveler from 2012, John Cooper of Counterpoint Politics. How are you doing today, my friend?
I am doing, I hope people are listening to this one on Spotify instead of looking at my terrible video quality right now. Apologies for the late start because my computer decided to just have a total fit. But yeah, we do what we do, TJ.
Yeah, you know what happens. It's just recovering from the weirdness going on of the news and the economy today. It's affecting everyone, John. Everyone's taking it kind of rough.
It's TJ. I have an announcement to make.
Let's go.
I want to make this very clear. I made a video last year about how I thought Donald Trump was a fascist, and I'm starting to maybe think I was wrong about that.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason for that is that fascists tend to be idiots. And Donald Trump, I think, is just so much of an idiot that he has appeared to be a fascist, and fascists have gravitated towards him. But any fascist authoritarian worth their salt wouldn't be this stupid. It is a mind-blowing amount of dumb. It is beyond my worst case scenario. Like what he's doing with like immigration stuff, we're at like, okay, this is what I expected going in. Even though I thought he would go with the tariffs in some way, shape, or form, I really thought that he would be talked out of that. And he seems dead set in getting these tariffs off the ground. And he really thinks they're going to work. And then they don't work. And he reneges and declares victory. It's very annoying to be doing this when the fate of the global economy hangs in the balance. It's incredibly stressful. I can't even predict an hour from now. I used to say I can't predict the future. I can't predict what happens in 5 minutes from now anymore, TJ. It's a real problem.
Yeah, it is. It's annoying, honestly. Well, I think the number one thing I've learned from all of this is the president should not have the power to do this. No one human being should be able to disrupt literally the planetary economy at a whim. It's absurd watching what Trump's been doing. And I have a suspicion on this that his waffling back and forth on the tariffs and everything, I don't think the China tariffs are going to stick at all. The ones that, I guess we should mention what we're talking about is that Donald Trump implemented.
Yes, in case you've been living under a rock.
Yeah. Trump implemented blanket tariffs on essentially everyone, with the exception of Russia and North Korea, I believe, just with an absurd equation that they made look fancy by adding a bunch of Greek symbols and everything based on trade deficits we had. It was essentially arbitrary. Just massive tariffs on over 170 nations and everything. And of course, the stock markets have been tanking, and people have been predicting a recession because no economy, including our own, could possibly withstand this kind of assault. And this afternoon, early, maybe late morning, Trump said, actually, I'm backing off the tariffs now. And I'm going to put a 125% tariff on China. And I think he said he's dialing everyone else down to 10% across the board, which the market responded well to. It's dropped something like 5,000 points over the last few days. And now it's up about 2,000, I believe. So it's still down 3,000 or so from last week, last I checked. But it is rebounding a little bit. But when Trump put, I think it was 104%. I think yesterday he put 104% tariffs on China. When I saw that, I was like, okay, that tariff is not sticking. It's not. I don't believe it at all. It might as well be a 1,000,000% tariff. It is that destructive to the nation. Like, our economy cannot survive that. And China's raised ours to 84%. And it's just a stupid fucking game to him. I don't think it's going to stick.
Yeah. So here's the thing, TJ. I don't think it's just a stupid fucking game to him. Like, I think that Donald Trump genuinely believes that America would be better off with zero trade deficits to any country. I think that he genuinely thinks deep down in his heart of hearts that we are capable of a fully internalized, self-sustaining economy where we don't buy anything from anyone else. I think that that is what he thinks is best. And I think he's going to keep trying to get us there. Like he has this idea. There's a video that he was talking to coal miners,
I saw
and
that.
he was like, yeah, no, I talk to coal miners. They don't want these other jobs. They want to mine coal, and it's like, no, no one wants to mine coal. No one in the history of the world has ever wanted to mine coal. People have to mine coal. They don't want to. People are maybe scared of losing their coal mining jobs because they don't know what else they can do. But that doesn't mean they want to be mining coal. But he thinks that we would be better off if everyone in America was manufacturing shit instead of doing all of the things that we have been doing our whole lives to turn us into the strongest economy on the planet. And he wants to reverse that. Like his goal, what he thinks is best, I really don't think it's about anything other at this point than he has this idea of what a good economy looks like that is detached from reality. Because nothing else really explains why he's still doing this. I get he wants to make strong deals and leverage people, and he doesn't think that he can win unless someone else loses. I get all of that, but the utter absurdity of this all, his stated goal isn't even we're negotiating for his stated most consistent stated goal is I don't like trade deficits. I want to eliminate trade deficits. They came out straight and said it. Hey, we don't care if Vietnam gets rid of its tariffs on us. We want them to buy as much from us as we buy from them, which is one of the most fundamentally stupid things. Again, Trump has said a lot of dumb things, but the idea that Vietnam is even capable of buying as much shit as we are just doesn't make any sense whatsoever. And every normal human on the planet would rather be the U.S. in that trade dynamic than Vietnam. But for some reason, he thinks Vietnam is pulling over a fast one on us. And you just can't reason with that. I know reason has left the building with Trump a long time ago, but there's no convincing someone that they're wrong about something they're so clearly wrong about.
Yeah, I don't doubt that Trump does believe this based on what he said in the past. I've seen a lot of clips of him whining about this since, I believe, the late 80s. He's been talking about how upset he was about trade deficits and all. So, I mean, maybe he does believe it and everything, but I don't know what else he would have to see to say, okay, wow. Oh, then unless you have faith, he has trust in himself. This is going to work out. And Trump seems to be under the impression, and so do a lot of his followers and his MAGA cult, that they've bought into the propaganda that the United States literally can do anything it wants. A lot of people do seem to think that. They're like, okay, well, we can strong arm everyone to do exactly what our goals are and make them bend to our will. To an extent we can, but eventually we can't. And you can't. That's the main problem here, is that markets and businesses and economies, the one thing that they don't want is instability and unpredictability. If you don't know what Trump is going to do, for example, Trump, how often do they say, you know what we're going to do? We're going to implement these tariffs. Yeah, they seem draconian. They seem too strong. They seem overbearing, whatever. But it's all going to be worth it because it's going to bring all these manufacturing jobs to the United States. They're going to start building factories here. And this is bad news for me. I commissioned a factory to be built yesterday, and now the tariffs are gone. So what's going to happen to me now? I spent all that money, and that's going to keep happening. And so I think that people are just going to not buy the bluff anymore. It's I don't think you're actually going to go through with this, because the reason, well, actually, I'm sure you saw this, John, about why Trump ended up capitulating on this. And they had the reaction from the markets and everything. You had people telling this doesn't make sense. But then there was the bond sell-off last night. Did you see anything about that?
Yeah, so that is the thing that I believe from the reporting that I've seen is what actually convinced Trump to renege the tariffs. Because, for those who haven't followed this or maybe don't understand this as closely, the way that the U.S. gets money is by selling treasury bonds. And typically, when the stock market is crashing, the bonds become more valuable because people want to buy them. Because they are usually deemed as an incredibly safe asset. It's the same deal with the US dollar. Whenever the US stock market is tanking, usually people move their money to those valuable commodities like the US dollar, like treasuries that are going to be stable, or at least historically has always been seen that way. Last night, the valuation of the 30-year US Treasury bond was worse than that of the 30-year Treasury bond for fucking Greece. That is how bad the outlook of the US that is our entire system of currency, our entire government, the value that our economic word holds was lower than Greece last night. That doesn't just change because Donald Trump changed his mind about this tariff deal, giving it a 90-day pause.
Nope.
We are now hurtling ourselves towards the wall in a freight train slower than we were before. Like, we were about to jump off the fucking cliff. I don't think people appreciate enough just how much danger we were in. I went out and bought $500 worth of dry goods last night because I didn't fucking know when I'd be able to buy coffee at a normal price ever again. Like, it's that bad. And this instability, this inability to even explain what his plan is or what his goals are, or how his plan is going to help accomplish those goals, or how those goals are going to be beneficial to the American economy. Any of this, none of this has a coherent explanation. Because, and I want to address what someone said here, who said, I think Trump is trying to create conditions for a fire sale for the oligarchs. I will buy that maybe he's trying to do some pump and dump schemes and getting rich quick off of these, because he totally fucking did. If you look at trading today, about an hour before he announced no tariffs, there was a lot of fucking movement in a positive direction that seemed to indicate a hand was tipped. But, you know, I won't speculate on that too much. But, like, this isn't a plan. Like, I want everyone to be clear. He's not trying to shrink the economy so he has more control over it or whatever. That would be what a fascist would do. Like, the fascists are, like, that would make sense if he was trying to do that. I think he genuinely thinks what he's doing is good for the American economy. And I think that we need to analyze this moving forward with the idea in mind that Donald Trump is doing what he thinks is best for everyone. And that's honestly a scarier thought.
Yeah. The 4D chess guy would be more interesting. This is Fox News discussing Trump right here. Let's go.
Quite the moment, as you can imagine. The art of the deals all over the Twitter sphere right now, as people say. I mean, maybe this is the way he planned it. To John's point, Charlie, about the Treasury Secretary saying maybe you could say that he goaded China into a bad position for themselves. Well, don't retaliate. Things will work out well, he said.
I mean, I want to tell you right now that Donald Trump outsmarted the world. Trust me. I'm an American. I support my president. But that's not really what happened here, from what I understand. And I know I'll get pushback, but here's what it is. First off, we should point out that one of the good things about this is that Scott Bessent is finally in the White House. He's finally leading this. I mean, up until a couple of days ago, it was Lutnick, it was Peter Navarro, the Commerce Secretary, the trade advisor, very much hawks. Now it's Scott Bessent, who believes in cutting deals as opposed to, just not just putting these tariffs out there and let's be a mercantilistic economy. That's number one. But number two, let's recall what happened overnight. And from what I understand, and I'm getting this from people that are talking to the White House, what happened in the bond market overnight, the spike in yields on the 30-year and the 10-year bond, which showed that people were dumping our bonds. And who are those people dumping our bonds? Japan, the biggest holder of bonds, was selling bonds. That's what I'm getting from some very big money managers. China, maybe to some extent, but it was largely Japan and others. If you have a mass sale of bonds, that means people are losing confidence in the U.S. economy, on the ability to do deals with us. And from what I understand, this is what forced the hand of this 90-day reprieve. Now, is it a good thing? Are people coming to the table? Yeah. But
all right, I want to bring that up here because, John, I don't know if you've seen this, but what's been frustrating to me is the reaction from non-competent or dishonest conservatives who refuse to admit the truth on this. And where the entire time, these last, 36 hours, they have been saying this blanket tariff 30% or more on random nations and tariffs on islands inhabited only by penguins. This is great. This is going to bring manufacturing back to the country. The stock market doesn't matter. This is fantastic. I support this wholeheartedly. We're going to be a nation of people who either screw in the screws in iPhones or fix the robots in these factories. This is our grand plan for the future. The next day, when Trump reverses everything and backs down, they're like, I knew it all along. I knew it was fine. This is fantastic. That has been what's frustrating about this to me, is that they can't honestly evaluate what's happening here. What's good is whatever Donald Trump does. It doesn't matter if it's consistent, doesn't matter if it makes sense, doesn't matter if it comports with reality. As long as Donald Trump does it, they are all for it. And it is driving me insane. Oh, no, I lost you. Oh, hold on. You're muted.
That's my bad.
Oh.
There we go. Tons of technical difficulties today, guys. Very much apologize for it. But yeah, TJ, you couldn't be more right. It's incredibly frustrating that they just refuse to be honest. Like this, there's no way to look at this and go, this is good. Because here, let me steel man this case.
Yeah.
Let's say that you agree with Donald Trump that what we need to do is make sure that we don't have trade deficits anywhere. It's stupid. I think you're stupid if you think that. But let's even say, for the sake of argument, that I'm wrong and you're right, and that is what is best for our economy. This is the stupidest way to go about doing that. Like, if you actually wanted to make that happen, you wouldn't be using ChatGPT to write the fucking algorithms that you're using to determine these trade tariffs. Like, you would be going about this in a more calculated manner. There wouldn't be, I don't know what's going to happen. Like, again, I work in marketing. What I do is far less important than literally the global economy, right? But when I present a plan to my client, I go, hey, this is what we're going to do. This is our goals we hope to achieve. This is how we're going to get there. And sure, it doesn't always go according to plan. But I then go, hey, this is the reason that things didn't work out the way we thought. These were the unknown variables. This is our new plan now for achieving that goal. What I just described is probably the process that everyone has in their jobs in some way, shape, or form. And yet, when you look at what Donald Trump is doing, none of that exists. It's just, we're going to have a golden age. Trust me on it. That's it. There is no plan. There's no explanation of the plan. Even if you agree with his goals, you should be pissed about the way he's going about achieving them. There is no ground to defend here. The people who are doing it are just sycophants. They're just liars. They have no basis in reality anymore. Like, even the guys on Fox News are going, hey guys, yeah, that's not really what's happening. Like, if you find yourself to be less of a right-wing propagandist than the fucking Fox News talking heads, you need to reevaluate your life decisions.
Amen. Zeke, thank you for the $20. We appreciate that, my friend. This is good stuff. Yeah, we appreciate Zeke commenting. You're our most consistent commenter, like, in a short period of time. I gotta say, I feel like Zeke's only been following us for like a month or so. Yeah. So, and Jaden Foster finally made a stream. I'm pretty sure I've seen you comment on a stream before, Jaden. So this is at least your second one. So, but we are glad to see you here. Yeah. I can't stand it, John. I can't stand it. But the thing is, of course, we knew it was going to happen, right? Of course, we knew that whenever Trump inevitably reversed this, I think he's going to reverse the China one simply because the global economy can't possibly sustain that. They're going to say the same thing. This is good because it brings people to the table. At first, it was good because it's bringing back manufacturing jobs, and it's good because we're actually sticking it to the oligarchs now. That the stock market is crashing, and we're happy about that because, you know, the stock market exists in a vacuum and isn't an indicator of what the economy is going to look like in the future all of a sudden. But Fox News actually played into the propaganda that Trump said that 75 nations have offered to negotiate the tariffs, and that's why we rolled it back. And we're going to play ball with them because they didn't retaliate. Which I want to know who those 75 nations were. And if you're wondering, you're not going to find out because the White House says we're not going to release the list of the 75 nations that said they'll negotiate because the list doesn't exist. And if it did exist, it would be laughable because the EU absolutely did retaliate. Japan started selling off our bonds. Like the people we would actually care about all retaliated in some fashion. China's the only one that retaliated a big deal. So it falls apart completely. I just hold on, China. I wrote down China will pay the tariff as the new Mexico will pay for the wall. I don't know why I wrote that down, but I can't believe that Trump has gotten away with saying that other nations are going to pay this tariff and it's going to, bring us. Oh wait, did you guys? Oh, I wish I'd have found that clip, Colby. Did you guys see? Benny
Good thing I have it.
Oh, you do good. Oh, good, great. All right, I love it. Yeah, this was pretty good.
So what you were talking, I feel like Benny Johnson is almost like the worst of all of the conservative commentators. And let's remind ourselves that Benny Johnson took like hundreds of $1,000s from Russia. So like this guy's obviously a paid propagandist, but this is just ridiculous. I'll play it here.
In the near term, I think there's going to be some higher prices on some things. I think in the long term, this is going to be the single greatest play for the American economy in our lifetimes. And the final thing I'll say on this before bringing in the great Corey Lewandowski is the trade. The trade is that I experience and you experience and we all experience some short-term pain in a 401k or in the market. Liquid and money costs you absolutely nothing. Losing your country costs you everything. Option B is to preserve this country and to strengthen it and to
that is losing money costs you nothing. TJ, if you had to like invent a propagandist as like a satirical example of what real world propaganda was, and you wrote a line for them in like a movie, a line that they would say is losing money costs you nothing, guys. Like that is straight. People use the term Orwellian way too much.
Yeah.
People refer to 1984 way too much. That is 1984 level propaganda. Losing money costs you nothing. And I can even if I'm steel manning the fucking argument here, Benny, and saying, oh, well, like defending the country is more valuable than like short-term financial gains for individuals. Like if that's what your argument is, sure. Mm-hmm. But we had the best fucking economy on the planet a couple months ago. Like, again, if you say that, hey, there's improvements to be made, there's massive wealth inequality, there's all these problems, there's a large homeless population, there's all these bad things, I agree with you. Plenty to fix. But at the end of the day, we had the strongest economy on the planet. We did my entire life. And I'm currently looking at this and going, Jesus Christ, the best case scenario looks like China overtakes us as the world economic leader by a large margin by the time Trump is out of office. And there's really no other way to look at that. Like, I don't know how anyone's sitting here looking at all of our allies get pissed at us and put tariffs on us and like all of our trading partners going away and being like, this is good for us. I just, if you go fuck yourself, Benny John, like you are stoking the flames of a global economic catastrophe that will kill millions. And it's not even close. Like if this were to actually go through and we were to do what Donald Trump was saying he was going to do, millions would have died. It's not even speculation. It's probably a fairly reasonable conservative estimate of just a couple million dying, because that is how bad it would have gotten.
And there's no quicker way, like you said, to guarantee that the ending the order of the United States being the premier superpower in the world. There's no better way to do it than to weaken our economy this way and weaken our relationship with our friends, allies, and enemy states. I mean, there's no way we can actually keep this going. I see Tobias Jenkins says something around that Japan already agreed to zero, because I mentioned Japan when I talked about the retaliatory stuff. Maybe Tobias didn't catch it, but I was referring to Japan selling off our bonds, which was the reason this actually happened, or at least the supreme reason I say it actually happened. So yeah, they did not raise their tariffs, but they did sell bonds, which is why Trump backed off like a little bitch and just coward. Like and for what? And what you were saying about how Benny Johnson and all these folks are pretending that this is actually great and they're backing Trump no matter what he says. Trump humiliating everyone who works in the administration, not telling them anything how it works. Whenever Lutnick or Navarro or people out there doing interviews saying, no, Trump is staunch on this, he's not moving. And then a day and a half later, he moves, going back. Oh, actually, we knew this the whole time. What are you doing this for? Like, what is this for? Like, if your goal is to keep America stable or to make America rich or anything positive for our nation, it's not happening. There's nowhere at the end of this road that leads to anything going well for us. And yeah, there was a surge in the market today. I imagine there'll be one, but in the upcoming few days, next couple of weeks, why would there be any confidence and stability in this administration when what is this, like the third time he's put forth massive tariffs and then backed off within a week or so? Why wouldn't you think this could happen all year? Why wouldn't you move your business out of the United States, actually? Why wouldn't you do that right away? Why is that the first thing you would do?
Again, this is one of those things where I said this on the show before, like, I don't think people fully understand just how bad this can get. Like, no. I think that people, when they think of hard economic times, they mainly think of, 2021, 2022, like those middle COVID years where we were kind of out of lockdown, but there was a superheated economy and supply chain issues, which led to inflation. And at that time, Joe Biden was doing the responsible stuff, like the Fed increasing interest rates. He was making sure that policy kept people employed, and we managed to have really low unemployment for such economic volatility. Again, me and TJ, in case anyone's new to the show, aren't fans of Joe Biden. I'm not saying this in a partisan way. I'm saying that if you look at our unemployment rates versus other countries during this time that experienced the same economic volatility, ours were better. And so people have this memory of, oh, inflation. I had to pay more for things. But what they don't have the memory of is not having a job during that. Imagine combining the unemployment of 2008 with the inflation of the COVID pandemic, and that's what you would have. And not only that, but you would also be paying 10 to 50 to 100% more for everything, because we are putting taxes on ourselves to pay for goods outside the country. And then not only that, but employers in this country are going to need to raise their prices they're just going to raise the prices that we are paying for the goods. So not only is the dollar deflating in value due to inflation, but everything is more expensive and people have less money to spend. And by the way, there is a hell of a lot of small businesses that aren't going to be able to pay 100% increase overnight in tariffs, and they're just going to close their doors. And there's going to be more supply chain issues, which is going to lead to more inflation. This cycle goes on and on and on and on. And I'm not being a doomsayer here. This is just what like basic level financial experts and economists are saying. Like, this isn't complicated shit here. And to top all of that off, even if we get through this, even if we get to the light at the end of the tunnel and we get out of this, Trump realized he was wrong, or we get him out of power or whatever, the entire world's confidence in us is permanently shaken. I don't know how other countries will want to seek to do business with us. They're going to try and go do business with China, who doesn't act like a stupid fucking idiot and try to crash the global economy on purpose.
Yeah, there's really no silver lining in this cloud, if you ask me. And but I will try to add, a little cherry on the sundae here. Not only are we looking at a definite economic weakness going forward, but Donald Trump has announced $1 trillion military budget. You hear about that, John?
I did hear about that.
Great things happening with our military. We also essentially approved a budget, which is in the facility, you'll like to hear this, of $1 trillion, $1 trillion. And nobody's seen anything like it. We have to build our military, and we're very cost conscious, but the military is something that we have to build, and we have to be strong because you got a lot of bad forces out there now. So we're going to be approving a budget, and I'm proud to say, actually, the biggest one we've ever done for the military.
Okay, this I wanted to add with what we're talking about here, because it's another example of the Republicans harping on something over and over and over again and not actually meaning it. Just like they were doing with the tariffs, like, oh, this is great. Their stupid arguments like, oh, so other countries can do tariffs, but we can't, as if we ever said anything like that. And saying that, well, Trump is the anti-war president, no new wars. Yet they all clapped like fucking seals whenever we started bombing Yemen. They love hearing Donald Trump talking about, the voluntary migration for the Gaza, the people in Gaza, and now the $1 trillion military budget. Going to expand the national debt, not going to do anything about the deficit. You're not going to hear a word. You are not going to hear a word of complaint from 9 out of 10 Republicans. Or if they do complain, they'll say something to the effect of, "Well, yeah, sure, maybe I don't like the expanding of the America's national debt, but it just would have been worse under Kamala." There's just no consistency there, and we're going to be dealing with this for 4 more years.
So here's the thing, TJ. My confidence that we're going to be dealing with this for 4 more years is actually at an all-time low, because I don't think that this Trump presidency is sustainable. Like,
in which way? In which way?
In the way, in whichever way you want to take that, TJ. I think that. Okay, look.
Careful, John. Be careful.
I hope the best for the world in this country, right? I hope that I am so wrong, and I hope that every economist and financial expert in the fucking world is wrong about this, right? But if they aren't, and Trump does the things, continues to, because we're looking at this like, hey, this is the cycle where he did something crazy and then reneged on it and nothing ever actually happened. No, we're still living in a world with 10% across the board tariffs. There's a 90-day pause. And as we still have the 100% plus tariffs on China. And as someone asked, I forget exactly who it was, they asked earlier, but they asked what happens if China shuts down trade with us. Well, that's, I believe, 14% of all of our imports come from China. I think it's something like 8% of all of our exports go to China. Like, we just suddenly sell 8% less shit. Like 8% of all of our economic productivity just gone, right? Overnight is just gone. It's just bad for us. And if these spirals actually happen, if he lets one take hold, there's not going to be coming back from it. Like, if these things go through and everything crashes, there will be no coming back, and there's going to be severe economic consequences. At that point, one of 2 things will happen. Either one of 3 things will happen. Either Republicans hold their fucking stance and just walk us through the worst economy that people have ever experienced in their entire lives for 2 years and get absolutely washed out come 2026, or and then we fucking impeach him. Like, I think if that happens, I think we will have the votes to impeach him. I think it'll be that bad for the Republican Party. Or they're going to see that coming and not want it to happen, and they're going to pass legislation that takes tariff control away from the president because they clearly can't trust him with it in order for them to continue their political careers. Or option 3, there's going to be so many people with nothing to lose that someone does something.
Someone does the right thing.
2 people already tried, and conditions were way fucking better than they're going to be if all of this shit happens. So, again, I'm not saying anyone should go do or anything. I'm not endorsing anything. I'm just saying 2 people already tried, and it's just going to get worse. So,
that's why I don't know. It's hard to predict anything with Donald Trump, but it's why I don't think it can actually happen. I don't think it can go through because even Donald Trump realizes when the stakes are too high and his bluff has been called. I mean, it happened just this afternoon with, Japan and everything. By the way, did you see how much of our national debt is owed by each country? Have you seen that since this came out?
Yeah, it's a lot of Japan.
Yeah, this is a fascinating thing because people love to complain. Well, conservatives, libertarians, they like to complain about the national debt. And they always talk about, what is it now, $32 trillion or something like that. We are $32 trillion in debt. And they always fearmonger this absurd scenario where some nation calls their portion of the debt and we don't have the money to pay them back. and the United States collapses or they go to war. Usually China, usually what they refer to as, they talk about China. But yeah, if you guys want to know who actually holds this debt and where it's spread out, our foreign debt is divided primarily between 3 nations. And John is correct that the number one nation is Japan. Japan holds about $1 trillion of our debt. China, the big boogeyman everyone talks about, $759 billion. Now, that is a big number, but it's not, right? We spend more, like our military budget is more than that. $759 billion held by China, 723 by the United Kingdom, 424 billion by Luxembourg. I did not see that coming. The only thing that pops out with me here is that, John, I remember you talking about one show a long time ago. Someone mentioned that we were not actually the most wealthy nation in the world by capita, per capita. I think it was Luxembourg. And you made a joke like, yeah, I don't really care about the wealth of Luxembourg. It makes a lot more sense now. How we owe that tiny nation for, I got to look into this. Someone find out for me, why do we owe Luxembourg so much money? That's, guys, check the size of Luxembourg on a map. Is it bigger than Delaware? I don't know. It's a tiny little nation. But Japan is the nation that holds most of our national debt, as far as, or the nation that holds most of our national debt. And it's also a bad argument when they fearmonger about this, because they could just sell the bonds. They could just do that. They could just exchange the bond like Japan did. That'd be the smart thing to do. But also other nations, being involved in our debt gives them an incentive to make sure that we survive, to make sure that our economy is strong. The national debt is owed mainly to us, mainly to the United States. So ask anyone to give you a concrete example of how having the United States being $32 trillion in debt hurts you or anyone you know. They won't be able to give you one. There isn't. It's just a bunch of fearmonger they have on this. But yeah, I forgot what I was talking about here. But
and by the way, so TJ, I also want to make something very clear. It's 36 trillion, not 32 trillion. Okay. But only 7.3 trillion is owned by foreigners. 29 trillion is owned by U.S. citizens. We owe debt to ourselves first and foremost. And what you said is exactly correct. I don't know if anyone out there has ever owed anyone money, or someone has owed money to them. And in that relationship, you don't have the power to collect that money the way, say, like the mob does. You are now invested in that person's future. You want to make sure they're making good decisions so that they're going to be able to pay you back. You're not going to hurt them. They owe you money. You want them to succeed, so they pay you back. This is how trade works. We are reliant on each other. It is good when we owe people money, because it means they're invested in us. When people are selling their debt in us, they are no longer invested in our well-being. That's not a good thing. That is a bad thing. And sure, you can make arguments about, you can only have so much debt, your debt to GDP ratio, like those are important things that, they are. But the concept that we should have zero debt is the dumbest fucking thing I've ever heard. U.S. households don't typically work on zero debt. We're all financed by debt, whether you have a mortgage or credit cards or something. I bet you have some debt that makes your life better. Fucking companies don't work this way. Companies take on debt. It's a key part of building a financially sound company, is to have a lot of debt so that you can use that money to make more money than if it was just sitting there. That's the entire point of having a business or doing anything. It just it's frustrating.
If you really believe that the United States should be run like a business, you should be fine with the debt. They say this all the time, that, it should be run like a business. All right, businesses have debt. Show me a business that doesn't operate on debt. If you're a business that has no debt, you're looking for it. You're like, okay, how do I expand? Like, what risk can I take to actually grow this operation? Back before we put our money on fiat currency, we were limited in how much money we actually had. Like debt was very hard to come by. And we realized how limiting that was for our economic force. Like, no, why would you want to do that? Like, that's why we went off the gold standard here. And I remember what I was saying with Trump and Trump expanding our military budget and expanding our debt. Now, I'm not going to automatically say that, the greater debt is bad. I'm not going to part of that school, but expanding the military budget, I thought we all agreed this was a bad thing. We all said that, I didn't say it, but we all said that, Trump's going to come in. He's going to take it to the military industrial complex. No, he's not. He's handed them more cash than any president ever has. I don't know if you also saw, John, that RFK Jr. endorsed the MMR vaccine. Do you see that?
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Yeah, I know. Yeah, these guys. And Elon Musk is his Doge thing, trying to cut all this fraud, waste, and abuse and give $5,000 back to every American. I think that within 8 or 10 months, I don't know how any MAGA person is going to come to any other conclusion that, wow, these guys are scammers and liars, but they're not going to. They're not going to. How they don't, I don't know. Let's see. Kyle said, I worry about 2 things. 1, Trump facing no consequences. And 2, everyone forgetting what happened. Those who want to repeat history control its teachings. Now, I don't think Kyle is off base here with number 2, with people forgetting it happened. I don't. I think I can easily foresee a scenario in which Trump keeps rolling this ball more and more, and it going haywire, like the prediction you made, John, and that everything falls apart, or that it just kind of slowly fades away and things just are just kind of bad. But over the next year and a half, people might forget. People might think, well, this is just our equilibrium now. Things just kind of suck. That's not impossible. I wouldn't bank on that as being the most likely scenario, but it's possible. And Garby the Cat says Trump sculpts action figures using his.
You brought it up, TJ. You got to finish this one.
Using his own poopies and sells them on Etsy after snorting grated Parmesan cheese off Elon's shaved chest. Do we have this from a reliable source, Garby? Can you link us to?
TJ, I'm not saying it. People are talking about it though.
Many people are saying.
But no. So the thing about like people forgetting, my gut feeling is that they can't. Like, it's so in our face all the time, and again, the damage is going to be real. Like Jamie Dimon doesn't predict recessions for his own benefit. In fact, it's incredibly beneficial to Jamie Dimon. He's the JP Morgan one, right? Yeah. And JP Morgan for people to think that the economic future is bright. They make money by getting people to invest in the stock market. And if people think there's going to be a recession, they make less money. And so they're incentivized to lie. Like, they're incentivized to downplay the economic negatives of this policy. And they're saying this will cause a recession. I don't know how better to explain it to people.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's so clear. It's like I saw someone like make a TikTok and it's like, oh, you guys weren't complaining when there's all this economic volatility in the stock market under Biden. And it's like, yeah, it's not coming from us. It's coming from your people. It's coming from the billionaires. It's coming from the people with millions and millions and millions, not billions, invested in the stock market, invest in our economy. They're selling. It's coming from countries like Japan who are selling all of their debt in us because they no longer trust us. It's coming from people who invest in currencies, and they are no longer investing in the US dollar because they don't view it as stable anymore. These are things that don't end well, and we are, like, for better or worse, Trump has owned this. Like, this is one. There's no way. Like, right now they're trying to go with it's Biden's economy, when like
hilarious.
Stop doing it. It just doesn't fucking work anymore. He's owned it. He's put his name on it. It's sink or swim for him.
John, I thought a way that we can save this. Well, not us, but someone in the White House, someone close on Trump's team. That
I can think of a way too, DJ.
Well, okay, so a little, all right, a non-nuclear option here. So here's a way that we can save this, or some hero in the White House can save this. Like, if you have the contact information, like the direct way to access for the president, is that, what does Trump want? Trump wants his ego to be fluffed. Did you see that speech where he talks about all these countries are coming and they're kissing my ass? That's what he wants more than anything. If you can fake an accent, just fake an accent from as many countries as you can. Get on the phone and just start talking in an accent and kiss Trump's ass for an hour and try to just do this 30 or 40 times. It'll take you a month or so, but you could save the world economy if you can do, a decent Chinese accent, and you'll be fine. And the nation will be going pretty well. What do you think, John?
No, I think that's already happened, TJ.
You think they've already tried it? Yeah.
I would bet even money that at some point, someone in the White House, maybe not this time, I don't know, but like in the 4 years he was president, called him pretending to be a foreign leader, kissing his ass so that he would change course on something. I could almost guarantee that happened because it's so clear. Like, you're right. Like, as much as I'm saying Trump's an idiot and he genuinely believes this, he also does genuinely want people to come and kiss his ass. Like, you know, if you're a conservative, you're even a Trump fan. Like, we will probably disagree on a lot, but I think even like the most hardcore MAGA people will agree with me when I say Trump likes it when people kiss his ass. Like, he is not immune to flattery. This is very clear. Which, by the way, speaking of flattery, speaking of vanity, have you seen the Oval Office?
No.
Have you noticed what's happening to
No.
the Oval Office?
Oh, no.
So I'm going to show a picture.
Okay.
This right now, this is a picture of the Oval Office. I can't get both one of these on the screen at the same time, so we'll just do it this way. But this is a picture of the Oval Office and during Biden and during Trump. And I want you to tell me if you notice the difference between these two images.
Oh, let me see. I can't. Oh wow. Oh wow. No, I hadn't noticed that. Oh yeah, it's all gaudy like Mar-a-Lago now.
It's literally it's a literal Gilded Age, DJ. Like, you can't make a better metaphor. He's decorating the place in fucking gold. He's putting gold decals on the wall. He's putting
I hadn't noticed that.
Marble. It's just a gold decal pasted onto the marble. Fucking, that's not like he's just like, let's make it more gold.
Wow.
Meanwhile, he's destroying the economy. Like, it's sickening. It's sickening.
I hadn't seen that. That's so fucking tacky. Jesus.
It's so tacky. And I know that we've always made fun of Trump for being tacky with the gold shit. But like, it's concerning. I don't know how you like see someone doing that, going to their resort to play golf while the entire global economy is fucking running haywire due to their policies, making more and more gold happen. And by the way, the other thing I want to mention, because someone mentioned in the comments that he looks like an Oompa Loompa again. I read this theory previous to the election that when Donald Trump is the most stressed is when he gets his spray tans. And he's pretty damn tan right now. And by tan, I mean orange. Yeah, and it actually, I've noticed when like bad news cycles are going around for him, he tends to be a little more orange. That everyone keep that in mind.
I will watch out for that. Let's see. Mindy's conservative commentators are already trying to change their platforms and backtrack. It's insane. We need to archive everything they post. Well, I mean, that's kind of a waste of time. It's good. It's comedy or whatever. But no, I hadn't seen that.
I also want to address this from Mark. So Mark says he loves that we're all concerned about lower taxes, lower tariffs, lower debt. I don't understand the image that Republicans have of like progressives, at least. Like, I don't know if they just think that we are the same exact thing as liberal Democrats. You go to the left, you'll see a lot of people who are pro free trade because that's the right thing to do. That's economically, the more free trade you have between people, the better. We're all for low taxes, except for on the wealthy. The problem with tariffs is it's a regressive tax. It means that poorer people are spending more of their money on taxes. That's dumb. That's dumb any way you shake it. And it's weird. It's weird. It's also weird how like they go to these whataboutisms instead of addressing the fact that the guy that they picked is doing this, is self-destructing the economy. They're always pivoting when you press them on it because, again, as we said in the beginning of the show, there's no defense for this policy at all whatsoever, even if you think the goals are correct, which they're not.
Yeah. I don't know. Also, it's like, well, I thought, wow, you guys want lower taxes? Yeah, sometimes. Yeah, that's really not that difficult. Yeah, sometimes no. They do the same thing. It's like, oh wow, so you guys just want big government then? Sometimes. And sometimes no, I don't know. This doesn't seem overly complicated to me, right? Like, so saying that Trump putting blanket tariffs on the entire planet, some at 30, 40, 50%, 100%. Oh, this is kind of bad. Oh, well. Look at you wanting low taxes. It is a fridge temperature IQ take. That is like, holy shit. I I mean, how do you even respond? I'm surprised you responded to that, John. I wasn't even going to. Better man than me. All right. I thought the GOP believed in free market. Well, actually, this is the reverse. What's the deal with the tariffs? But they actually do say that. That's the funny thing.
Yeah.
This is something. Okay, I'll calm down here. This is that's like my quarter year resolution to calm down and stop getting worked up about this. Is that straw men? When it comes to right wing straw men of left wingers, they say stuff that is preposterous, stuff that does not exist in reality. They say, the Democrat Party, they're trying to get babies to be executed after they're born. They're putting litter boxes in kids' schools. They're getting 10-year-old boys to get their wieners cut off. They just say the most absurd shit that has no basis in reality, or like if you squint and look really hard, you see the kernel that they extrapolate this from. Our straw men are real. Like you will not find.
They're the real men in charge.
They're real. Yeah, they're the actual people. Like you do not have to look far to find a Republican who will say all abortion should be illegal, no exceptions. You can find that person. You can find
power. In power.
You will not find anyone who will say, yeah, if a baby's born and you change your mind, kill it. You're not going to find that person. You're not going to find it. And like this, or you will find people say, yeah, I believe in free markets. I think there should be no government. You can find that person. That's like our straw men are actual, real policy criticisms, and theirs are fairy tales. And so, so I don't want to be too hard on Arco here, but with the free markets, you're right. They do say they want a free market, but they like free markets, but they like Trump more. That's what it all comes down to.
And it's all like, it's just all of their justifications are just bullshit. Like this is what like me and TJ say all the time for anyone who's watching this, who's relatively new to the show. We respect the crazier conservative positions more because at least they're fucking consistent. Like the evangelicals who believe that the world is going to end in an apocalypse, and like we think they're dumb, but we respect them because they actually act as if they genuinely believe the shit that they're saying. I can't even tell you what the GOP believes anymore. I don't know what they believe in other than Trump good. Yeah, it's honestly the criticism that they threw, the valid criticism that they threw out at a lot of like resist lib Democrats of Orange Man bad. Like that was a pretty valid criticism. It was confusing because Orange Man was bad a lot of the time, but you could critique the Democratic Party for that sort of messaging, or at least people in the Democratic Party. But like, I don't even know what they have besides Orange Man good. Like, I don't even know what their reasoning is anymore besides Orange Man good. Literally all they're saying now in defense of this is, oh, Trump's able to cut the deals. They're maximizing their leverage. What fucking leverage? What deals? They haven't even said what their goals are.
There are no deals.
Like what? Where are the deals? Like where are these deals coming? We had great fucking deals. We had the best economy in the world. What deals did we need to fucking cut?
They keep saying this too. They say, oh, well, the tariffs actually worked because all these nations are cutting deals. You're telling me that dozens of nations are the ones that we're economically vested in. They made deals with numerous cabinet officials and secretaries and advisors, all of whom have been on TV 5 hours a day the last 36 hours. You're telling me that happened? No, it didn't. It didn't. Trump was cornered and he backed down. And once again, glad it happened. It should have happened earlier. It shouldn't have happened at all. And he should have gone even farther. But you can't sit here and honestly tell me that this was the grand plan and we actually got something out of this. And I was going to mark here. Well, a business is looking to make a profit. A government isn't. Kind of different. Yeah, I don't think government should act like a business, Mark. I was making fun of people who do say that. I don't think we are getting rid of the debt anytime soon, but austerity measures will be around the corner. We've been doing austerity measures.
When did austerity measures ever work? In the history of mankind, when did austerity ever work as an ideology? It fails every time it's attempted. You can't point to a country that implements austerity measures and it works. It
well, it depends on what you mean by work. That's very important. So yeah,
I mean by work, I mean it is beneficial towards the overall economy. That it grows GDP relative to their peer nations. Like we can set whatever fucking metric you want here.
Letting poor people die, if that's your goal of austerity, all right, there we go. So it actually did. So I don't know what Mark's definition of that is. And Kyle says the litter boxes in kids' schools is actually because Republicans block gun control. Kids need a place to pee during lockdown. No, that's if I remember, I'm 90% sure on this, Kyle. The story about the litter boxes in school came because a lady was she shot a video for TikTok or something, and she was talking about measures they had during school shootings. The kiddie litter was for the blood. It was to clean up the blood. It wasn't for the kids to pee in, actually. But you know, the conservatives saw the kiddie litter. They saw teachers like, oh, well, and they ran with it. Next thing you know, Joe Rogan. Oh, my God. Tomorrow, John, did you see on Kill Tony show or whatever that they had that Elon Musk impersonator next to Joe Rogan?
No.
Oh, it's a great clip. It is a great clip. It's real, huh? No, I didn't send it to you, but I was wondering if you'd run across it. But it's a really funny clip of this guy impersonating. You had an Elon Musk impersonator, and Shane Gillis did Donald Trump, and then you had a guy impersonating a Robert F. Kennedy. But they had the Elon Musk impersonator sitting next to Joe Rogan, and he was nailing it and making fun of Elon Musk. And Joe Rogan looked like a scared little boy. Joe Rogan was scared the entire time looking at this guy because he didn't laugh one time, although it was hilarious. We got to bring that up tomorrow. Who is our guest tomorrow, by the way, John?
Our guest tomorrow is the buff anime nerd. Who's
the best kind.
Yeah, exactly. He's another ex-military guy. I don't know exactly which branch. He's a vet, progressive vet. Again, we need to get that progressive vet talk show.
We do. So many of us.
Running because there's too many of them out there. But yeah, no, it's should be a good show. This is our Q&A show that we usually run on Tuesdays. It is a Wednesday because we were not able to film yesterday, but moving forward, this show will be on Tuesdays at 6:30, and we will have our normal Thursday show at 6:30 to 8:30 tomorrow. TJ, anything to wrap us up with before we go?
Nope, I think we covered it all. We appreciate you guys and look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Have a good one.
All right.